Have you ever had a vision of connecting, collaborating, and getting to partner with some of the top people in your industry? Well, if you have, watch this video because I'm going to share this three-part process that I stumbled into a little bit accidentally and now have taught to our clients in Thought Leader Academy. It's had sometimes miraculous results. So check this out. What I did a couple of years ago, it was January, beginning of the year, kind of vision board time. I made a list called my Dream 100, and I didn't have 100 on this list at the beginning of the year. I had about 15. And I thought of, with the intention of coming up with 100, the people that I would most love to learn from, to, again, collaborate with in some way, to be visible with, whether it was that we were speaking at an event together, we did some kind of social media swap that I would get to interview them on my podcast, whatever the collaboration might be referral partners. I made this list. And like I said, I didn't have 100 names. I had, 10 to 15 names. And I just let myself really get into my heart, get out of the head that's going to say, oh, I'm not a big enough name. No one knows me. This person would never want to give me the time of day. Like that's just the left brain, garbage that goes on. So instead, we're going to stay in vision and you're just going to make your list, right? There's no harm in it. And I actually write mine down. I make a spreadsheet. So it's kind of typed in, it's easy to access, make it digital. And then if you really want to go a little extra and supersize this first step, you could even maybe take pictures of those people from their social media, from the internet, their websites, and you could actually have almost like vision board version of your dream list. So whether it's a dream 10, a dream 50, a dream 100, the idea is, if you were collaborating and connecting with these incredible leaders, you would be a game changer. You would be able to be in front of new, amazing audiences. You would get to learn incredible things from someone that's, maybe further ahead in your work than you are. And it would just be incredibly rewarding and fulfilling to thank them and let them know the big impact that they've had. Okay. So step one is you're going to write your dream list. Who are these people that you would love? And what's fun about this technique is you just put them on the list. If you want to create pictures with it, great. And then I don't act like a lot of urgency. I have to do something. All right. However, we don't just want to let that just randomly sit there. Often these are people who are very busy. They have teams, they have gatekeepers. It's not people that you would naturally just be able to like meet randomly where, you're going to the grocery store, for example, or you're not really someone you could certainly, DM them, but are they really the ones reading their DMs? Okay. So step two, generosity first. So the thing that doesn't work is that sometimes I'll be coaching people and they'll say, I would love to be on fill in the blank, Mel Robbins, Gabby Bernstein, podcast. And these are, incredibly prolific thought leaders who have a lot going on. And they're not typically doing collaborations with, people that are maybe newer in the industry. So the first point of contact isn't, in my experience, to reach out to really incredibly well-known people and say something like, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast. Yeah, you and everybody else, I'd love you to promote my book. Yeah, not going to happen, right? And not to be in some limited thinking, but just because that's not realistic. This is a different network in a different world. So what I focus on and coach our clients to focus on is becoming visible to these people and or their teams in a way that is pure generosity. So for example, if someone that is on your dream list has just released a book, you maybe go buy, I don't just go buy one copy. I might go buy, 10 copies, 20 copies, 50 copies for all my clients. I took a picture of me holding all these books of their new book and just sent the message on their Instagram DM and said, I'm so excited for this book. It is absolutely incredible. I bought it for myself and all of my top clients. I'm so excited for you, thrilled at your success. And then I picked something really specific that shows I'm not just sort of making some blanket generic statement. I'll say, and by the way, last week on podcast 256, when you had so and so on and you talked about that story with, you finding the picture that linked you to, that whole unraveling of your past trauma. And I referenced something specific to show that I'm really consuming their content. I'm really paying attention to what's going on. And then just once a month, just do something generous. So I buy the books one month, I might leave a 5-star review, take a screenshot, send it to, again, probably their team that's reading it. I could subscribe to the podcast. I could feature, repost something they posted to my audience. And so it's just being generous and being a supporter. If they have, I know that they have an event coming up. I could buy tickets and go to the event. I could bring people to the event. If they're doing a book tour, show up there. And again, not in some kind of way that I'm expecting anything, just showing up in generosity. So this is a powerful technique where we just serve, we just are visible and are showing that we're a supporter, that we're consuming the content, we're helping in some way. Because look, even hugely well-known people still need engagement, still need likes, still want to sell books, they still want to get in front of new audiences. So if you're that person. Now, if you end up in a dialogue with someone's team or with that incredible thought leader themselves, then absolutely. Then you could say, hey, do you have something else coming up this year that I could promote for you? We're still not asking for anything, right? Are you launching something new that I can drive traffic to and promote for you? Again, not as an affiliate, not asking for anything back, just simply to be generous. This is a powerful technique because people who are very high profile are always being asked for things. They want, people are asking, blurb my book, promote this, have me on your show. And we never are going to get to that place without first building a relationship that's based on you being the real deal, giving and serving. All right. So once a month, you just go down your dream list and do something generous for the people on that. Now, the third step is, and final step, but then there's the little magic bonus that I'll share with you at the end. The third step is to become the person that is the ideal collaborator. Okay, what does that mean? So I then put myself in the mind of that person on my dream 100 list, and I think of what would make me a really valuable, if my ultimate desire is to be featured on their podcast or to be having them blurb my book or do something together, speak at an event together, something like that. If that's ultimately what I would absolutely love to contribute to their work and their audience, then what makes me an ideal candidate for that partnership? So the way we can find the answer to this question, we could probably imagine certain things, but if you want just concrete data, you go and look at who are the last 15 guests they've had on their podcast or had speak at their event if they host an event, or books they've blurbed, and start to find out what are the common denominators. Is it a certain audience size of person that they're collaborating with? Do they have a certain credential, like a New York Times bestseller or a top 1% podcast? Is it more about the kind of story or expertise that is interesting to that person's audience, right? We want to be a valuable resource, connection point for not only for them, but for their audience as well. And I had the chance to ask a couple of people on my Dream 100 list that I did end up connecting with from doing this process. And it was so fascinating because I thought they were going to say, oh, it's if someone has 1 million followers on Instagram, or, they have their gold YouTube plaque, or and while sometimes those things are considered, certainly in terms of just size of audience, the people that I've had the opportunity to now collaborate and connect with have said they have a really important message for my audience. They're going to help my people because these wonderful leaders actually care. Isn't that great to know? And yes, do their teams sometimes have criteria in terms of audience size or credentials? Of course, right? But if I could do my work to become, so if I don't have, if part of the criteria is audience size or my book on a particular bestseller list or having a honed story and expertise that could be really easily understood by them and the team of how it'd be valuable to their audience, then that's my work. That's the work I get to do. After I've been generous once a month to them, I get busy focusing on myself and elevating my audience, my expertise, my articulation of what I do, my value to their audience. That is the work I get to do to become the person that is the perfect match to do that collaboration. Now, I promised there was a little magic step. What has been incredible, which prompted me to make this video because I just recorded a podcast with Kate Northrup. 2 months ago, I spoke at an event for Jasmine Star, and I did a collaboration, which I can't talk about yet because it's not out, but I will do another video and let you know what it is, with someone else. All of these people were actually on my dream list for this year. And I was prompted to make this video because I thought this is incredible how it's happening. And I want to explain that in these three occasions, none of the people that I mentioned, Kate Northrup, which we just had an amazing interview together. I did a podcast swap where she was on our podcast, on The Rise, last week, and then I'll be on her show when she gets her new studio moved over to Nashville. So, and Jasmine, and the third person that I will let you know about as soon as it's out in public, none of those people were the people I was actually doing this process with yet. I had just put them on the list. I was still engaged in some other Dream 100 people. I had not gotten around to actually doing action, to be generous and visible and become the person and find out with Jasmine and Kate and this other person. But what happened is that because I was in the momentum of doing it in general, and because I was working on elevating all of those elements in myself to be a really worthwhile and valuable resource for people on my Dream 100, something called processional effect kicked in. Processional effect is a universal phenomenon that says when we take action toward a vision or a dream, that action will result in some kind of abundance, success, positive impact in some way. So I find it fascinating that three people that I did put on my new dream list, but that I had not started the three steps with at all, except sort of by effect number three, making myself just a more valuable in general collaborator, that these things randomly happened. With Jasmine, a friend of mine said, "Oh, spoke with someone who knows Jasmine Star, and she is doing this experience, and I don't know if she has any spots left, but would you like me to introduce you?" That happened through processional effect. Kate Northrup and I were introduced through a mutual colleague. That happened through, that I had not even said, was someone who I've been admiring for a long time, and would love to have the opportunity to thank and contribute to, right? Third person that I'll explain later, not at all on the list of people I was reaching out to, and yet they all came through these organic or processional effect means. So the exciting part is, start with, whether it's one person on your dream list, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, just start wherever you start. Use these three steps and then be open and ready for the total surprise when someone on that dream list, suddenly you've got a person that you've known forever that says, "Oh, do you want to meet so and so?" How did you know? Yes, and be ready to have that meeting. Step three will take care of that. I'm so excited for you to try these three steps. I would love to know who is on your dream list. Please DM me with who's on your dream list, and then what happens when you use the three steps. It will not surprise me one bit, and I will also be jumping up and down with excitement for you when you message to tell me that let's give it let's give it 8 weeks. Sometime in the next 8 weeks, you will connect with at least one person on that dream list, and it's going to blow your mind. I'm so excited for you. See you next time.